by the time I submitted it, everything was already full. But I think what happened was I have 2 documents on my desktop, and I probably sent the first one when I was waiting for folks. I think I sent that one to all of us. So sorry about that.
Okay, so I don't know if this is helpful. Mine that I have is a shared doc. Ivan was the last one that made. Andy, you have it. Ivan has it. Itzel has it.
What is it called? I'll search it in my drive.
Y2 Rise drivers and outputs.
Oh, there it is.
This one does not have Metro's information and it doesn't have Hidalgo's information. So it's probably not even the most up to date.
No.
Is this the one? Does it end with .docx?
Yes. Sure.
Sorry, it feels like such an old document. I totally.
And
It says mine says the last edit was July 21. Does that say the same thing on you?
July 23rd. You're not in the same document because it would pop up here. Here, let me.
So that's what happened. So anything with the .dox is somebody opened the Word document and chose to open with Google Docs. So it didn't actually create it in there where it's not actually shared with everyone, or I'm not sure that it's going to auto-populate because it's still a Google Word, if that makes sense. I mean, a Word doc.
Can we copy and paste it to
You chose to interact with it on a Google platform, but it's not a Google Doc.
I don't know if that's helpful or more confusing. Sorry.
Let's see.
Can we copy and paste the content into a new Google Doc, and then let's just call it the sacred doc or something?
Let's just, let me see something. If I add information here, can you guys see it? Did it update on your side?
I
All
can
right,
see.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ivan, I'm gonna change the title of this to say master. And this is what we're gonna use. And then I will pull in the information that I have from my most recent document. And that's my plan. If anyone else who saw the document that we were using, that was attached to this actual event, sees not current information, so you added information and it's not there, then add it here.
Sounds good. Thanks, Sandy.
Yeah, and I don't know, was the one that you guys pulled up, does it have Metro and Hidalgo's on it?
It doesn't have Hidalgo, it does have Metro.
Okay, so
I honestly think I saved mine locally, so I'll just copy and paste. That should be easy.
Yeah.
Jennifer, I'm eating rice and chicken and veggies. That's what
Nice.
you all. I am so car sick right now. I just spent 20 minutes in the car with Andrew doing the driving tour, and I am like, I want to be like laying flat on the floor right now. Like I am not okay. Car
Wait,
sick.
is it the most current one that Rob did? How was it?
Well, he was interviewing me, so I was talking.
Oh, and then I'm sure it was fantastic.
It was amazing. You all should do the driving tour. Hear me talk on it.
Yeah, actually, Hector was one of my favorites, Hector, because you ended with giving your phone number and saying, give me a call.
Same phone number, same ask. Yeah.
Oh man, that is like community commitment right there. Because who knows how many years this is going to exist on the EMP website. And here Hector is like 70 years old, still taking phone calls and answering to the Hidalgo neighborhood information.
That's right. Hopefully still a head full of hair, you know?
Oh, I'm gonna call and just ask random Hidalgo questions all the time. All right, you can get us back on track at any point, Ivan.
One more clarifying question. Ivan, are we adding a third column or are we just changing the definition to our outcomes? Are we adding an outcomes column?
Here's the thing, when we met with Rise last week, they suggested that we add a column. I feel like that's gonna complicate things for now. I think we just stick to filling those in the way they should be with those two. And then I'm gonna meet with them again, and then they're gonna say, yeah, you know what, we don't really need that column. Or actually, let's put the column in there, and this is what it should look like. Because right now, we're only just trying to make I don't want to overload our brains, right? So let's just figure out how to make a distinction between activities and outcomes, and then later we can add another layer.
Okay, so can you pull the thing back up and tell us what looks good and what needs worked on? Because
Okay.
I'm so confused now.
By the way, yes, I know that this may also be a little bit of a chore. I think the way I take it is it's a learning experience because this is actually grant writing language. What I've learned from Rise and, trying to help Keith manage a few other grant projects, I've realized that this is actually common language. And so, for many of us, as we continue to figure out ways to fund our programs and projects, it's just a language we should know or be aware of. So let's pull it up on the screen, please.
For those of us who just got done with the Strategic Growth Council grant, we really don't want to hear anything about narratives and language, at least for a few weeks.
Yeah.
That thing
Oh,
was ugly.
Well, we do need funding. So, we could postpone the fund. No, I'm not going to postpone the funding. We all need green. Let's see.
I was in the middle of copying and pasting for Metro, but I'll let you finish where I was at.
Can you go to, there's nothing for Metro here?
No, I was doing that right now,
Oh, okay.
but I'll let you.
There's
finish.
stuff for Metro. Go down to Metros.
Yeah, I just did that.
Okay, great. So notice here,
So can I ask real quick too? So this is the stuff you and I went over when we had our one-on-one meeting, right?
yes.
When you put it in there. Okay.
Mhm. Now I remember, yes. Okay, can you see, so the first column on Metro, like right after the name Metro, that's activities. And then the next one is outcomes and deliverables. And I think this is for, what is it? The first, what do you call it? Can you scroll up real quick? The driver, right? That's the first driver, which is personal or,
Scroll up to the title.
or individual. Sorry. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so go back down. So this is for the individual driver. So this is what we have. We have noticed that by the end of the grant project, which will be next year in July, we should have 10 Blackstone area business and commercial property owners connected to each other for acting on their own health and civic goals, and to advocate and advocacy efforts on affordable housing through the Fresno Regional Task Force of Affordable Housing. That's a huge project, but the cool thing is we have 1 year to do this. And there are other efforts that Better Blackstone is gonna do to make sure that we're connecting businesses to each other. And so how are we gonna do that? That's where the first column plays a role. So we're gonna do outreach to business and commercial property owners in the Heaton neighborhood along Blackstone to engage in civic initiatives. Do you guys see the connection there? In other words, the first column is like our strategy, and then the second column is the actual result of the work that we're trying to hit. Go ahead, Hector.
Sorry, I was waving someone goodbye.
Oh,
You're bad.
He was just doing the wave. It's fine.
so this is.
Can you talk through on this first one for you guys? You've talked through the activities, the outcomes. Can you just talk us through what the outputs would be too, so that we have that language?
What do you mean? The outputs on second column?
on this first one, on the individual, on your individual driver.
Yeah, so I don't know. So the second column is talking about like, what's the grand product? Well, 10 Blackstone area businesses and commercial property owners, not 10 of each, but a total 10 of property owners and businesses connecting with each other in order to advocate for affordable housing. So what we're gonna do is, so what's lacking in the first column here? So it says outreach to business and commercial property owners. So there's the outreach part. Hold a meeting every month. Okay, so for the next year, you can put that in the activities. Hold community meetings for businesses and property owners. And then number 3, make businesses and property or hold meetings, training sessions or workshops where they can learn the ABCD approach and how to advocate for the community. And then lastly, invite businesses and property owners to the Fresno Task Force for Affordable Housing. So those are all the activities. Notice there's no numbers in what I just said. It's just, this is the strategy, this is the idea. But by the time the grant project is over, we want to at least make sure that 10 of these folks have been connected well enough to advocate. Does that make sense? So,
Yes.
so a good way of looking at the second column is like, what is your grand product? Like a concrete, what is it? Tangible, empirical. All right, you guys get the point, right? So, what is the exact numbers look like? So that's where number 2 comes in, or second column.
So Ivan, if we were to add a column 3 of outputs, this is where I get really confused.
That's why we're not doing another column, because I'm not trying to
I'm
confuse.
sorry, guys.
Dude.
I
Wow.
a text that Christian sent me. Why it's this? I have no idea.
When you're double, what is it? When you're multitasking and you get caught. All right.
And you look great in that picture, by the way. That's
Oh, really?
Beautiful
That was my
earrings.
business face, apparently.
So question, Ivan, do you want like on mine on the interpersonal, should I take out then the 40 sessions and just put sessions of health and wellness classes? And
Hold on,
then,
yeah, so 1 second real quick. I want to go back to, and then we'll go to you, Jennifer.
Okay,
Go
sure.
back to Esther real quick. Esther, right now, let's just focus on these 2 columns. And then I'm going to submit it to RISE and see if they'll just accept it and let it go.
No,
But if-
I understand that. I was hoping that you just would, I don't, and if you don't understand it, that's totally fine, because I don't understand it either. But like, I love how you just talked through my activities, the outcomes is the result. What is the definition of the outputs? Like, could you tell me what your outputs for
Yeah,
that?
so what I've learned is, yeah. So here's the thing with the output. This is the reason I don't want to, it says it on our little matrix only because we borrowed it from the one that Keith created. But the problem with the term outputs is that it's somewhat in between activities and outcomes. And so it's going to seem a little redundant if we have another column for outputs when the activities are already pointing at what the final outcome is. And so this is more of a, I think that was more of a Keith thing on the matrix here. And if you know Keith, he will overload you with frameworks and information, and you'll be kind of confused. So what we're trying to do here is just simplify and streamline the whole matter from basically an activity to the final product. If it helps, let's remove output from this matrix. Does that help?
Yeah, just call it, activity and then measurable
There you go.
outcomes.
There you go. Measurable outcomes. Can we change that, Andy?
It's already,
Oh, okay.
measurable. I'm asking if you could just talk through, if you were to put outputs on there, how you would do that in your context,
Mhm.
because I still don't understand it. So I'm asking for like, what are they looking
Okay.
for?
Well, like but what he said is we're putting the outputs is half in the description of the activity. Because like engage 250 community members,
Yes.
that is an activity with an output already listed. So
Exactly.
your activity is to engage community members. Your output would be that 250 people were part of that.
So can Andy, thank you, April. That was a good explanation. Can you scroll all the way down back to Metro? So I can give you an example. Since we already walked with you through these two columns, let me just show you what this would be. So outreach to businesses and commercial property owners in the Heaton neighborhood along Blackstone to engage in civic activities. So what we would do is we would have in the output column, which is not here, but if it was here, it would be in between these two. The outcome would say we held 10 meetings from July 31st of 2022 till July of 2023. So we held 10 meetings with about 8 property owners and businesses on an average showing up or something like that. So that would be an output. So it's still an activity, but it's got a little bit more information. And then finally, it gets finalized in this last column. So that's why I don't even want to bother with the output, because we're barely learning this language and it just complicates things a little more. I think if we just focus on the 2 columns, once RISE sees it, they're just gonna accept it. In the future though, it would be important for us to know all 3, because that's gonna, but right now we're just kind of, we're trying to put this together ASAP because it's a part of the year 2, grant requirement. And I just want to hurry up, put it together and send it back their way. But I think we're looking into some workshops for the future to make sure that we all have this language.
That's really helpful. Thank you, Ivan. I mean, I'm working on 2 grants right now that use, and like April said, we just worked on another grant together. They all are using all this language and I don't get it yet. Like, I think repetition and doing it in the community is how I learn it, right? And so that's kind of why I was excited to come today and be like, yes, let's actually walk through this with each other, because that's how I'm gonna learn it.
Yeah. I feel like I barely got it. Like not too long ago, like a few months ago, I barely got it. And for about a year, I've kept working with Keith on certain projects, and I just couldn't quite grasp it. But now I do, and it's from the repetition, as you said, just doing it over and over again. So let's look back up. Can we go back to April's real quick? Or sorry, Jennifer, go ahead.
That's why I told Andrew too. I'm like, you guys want me to learn Spanish, but I gotta learn all this type of language first. Like,
yeah.
And while Andy, can you put this master in our Y2 folder?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have, if it's not in a folder that I'm part of, I'm like
Oh, I
lost.
see it's in Lowell's.
So yeah, what was your question, Jennifer?
oh, just giving an example. So on the interpersonal one, I put 40 sessions of health and wellness classes. So I should probably just put health and wellness classes and move over the details.
Yes.
Conduct health and wellness classes.
So we'll look at it more clearly once we move this window out the way. But,
Wait, Ivan, I think you're the owner of the year 2 folder, right? Because I don't see it in my RISE.
I am.
So
Why?
if you move you'll have to do that because I can't move something to a folder that's not mine.
Andy, we each have an individual year 2 folder. So
Yeah.
this will have to be made into where you save a link to it in the folder. You're not creating a whole new document.
I'll do it right now.
So Ivan, you'll have to still do what she said.
Okay. Well, hey, how about this? I will add you guys all to it. I'm conscious about the clock because I really have to leave.
Yeah.
I have to be somewhere at 2. But yeah, I'll share it with all of you. I just I want to get to everybody's question, and I think it'll get cleared up in a second here. But go ahead, Jennifer.
Oh, okay. So going back to the interpersonal,
Yeah.
I was just asking, do you want, I should take out the 40 sessions and just put health and wellness classes. Like, we'll conduct health and wellness classes.
Yeah, so that is the interpersonal, which is the second driver, correct?
Yes.
Oh yeah, and please share that video. I just saw it in the text box. If you could share it with us, that would be helpful as well. But I would say again, try not to focus too much on 3 columns, okay? Unless Rise pushes a little bit and says, no, we want that. I don't think they would, because they didn't do that with year 1. The other, what I was gonna say, another thing that helps, so numbers help when it involves the final product. 40 sessions of health and wellness classes is not the final product. That is the progression. So the course, the whole course is 40 sessions of health, but it leads you to something. So what is that? It's a group of people with what? Wellness education. You're saying we're having 15 graduates by the end of the year. They're gonna know how to do the health and wellness. And then you can move the 40 sessions into the activities. Actually, the 40 sessions would be more of what we call an output. But not to confuse you, just throw it in the activities section.
Got it. Yeah, I get it.
All right, so another thing that helps with the outcomes is using, what is it? I don't know, like present participle tense. What do you call that? Like where it happened in the past and it finished in the present. So like you would say, for you, Jennifer, for the outcomes and measurables, you could say something like 15 people educated in health and wellness classes that include the following, and then you put in all those things. So what you're saying is you're almost speaking as if it already happened. So what has happened before with people filling in these columns is they usually will use future tense language. Like we will have 15 people or whatever. And what you want to do is you want to, I mean, you could enter that, then it's not going to get rejected. But when we write these final products, we have to write them in a way that it seems like it's done. And that today we have the graduates, right? How many? 15 of them. So here's a good example of, so if you go to, what is that, number 5, column number 5 for ENP, it says develop 2 new resident leadership cohorts or groups to build connection, leadership, and engagement in Southeast and Southwest. That's a perfect activity there, and even an output. But in the outcomes, you're gonna have to say, so if there's 2, how many people are in one leadership cohort?
That's Herman right there. So I'm not sure.
Do you think it'll be like 5 or 10?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was thinking of parent groups. I would say up to 10. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so you could say like 10 resident leaders developed. And so it sounds 10 resident leaders developed. Sounds like it already happened. It's done. They're there, right? So even though it hasn't, but you still write it that way because intellectually, it'll help you understand the distinction between outcomes and activities.
Real quick, because I have to log off. When do you want this completed?
All right, it is Wednesday. Can we have it by next Wednesday?
Sounds good. I was gonna say, don't say Friday. Don't say
no.
Friday.
No, I'm gonna tell Rise we need more time. We can't just, we can't just get 6 organizations together at one time, as we can tell, and have it all finished nicely and everything. So I'm gonna push back and tell them to they can just wait a day or 2 more.
Ivan, can you, so Esther made a really good note on explaining what outcomes is. So I just put it as a comment. You can see,
Guys, yeah,
Right
that's
here.
good, actually.
can you do the same for measurables and activities? Can you do this and then you would just highlight it, go to comment, add a comment, and then.
Can we just
write-
put it underneath the subheadings?
Yeah, you absolutely can. Yeah, you absolutely can.
I think it would be better
Make it
because
messier.
and then when I submit it, I'll just remove it. But just for our sake, I'll kind of put it underneath in like yellow or something.
Yeah, you can do that. It just makes it a little thicker.
So here's the thing that I found, Esther, is that yeah, I think the video would be very helpful. I think saying that the outputs is just a story gets complicated in a diverse network like ours, because storytelling is different. Story has different meanings. If you're a professional, of course, in a grant writer, you understand that's also an insider language. It's when people talk about grant writing stories, it's not like a I think you guys get it.
Well, and just for the sake of time, I'm gonna finish my other thought. So yeah, Ivan, if you can go in and just put the quick description to help
Yeah.
guide people. And then the rest of you, if you wouldn't mind say, or not if you wouldn't mind, hearing how you can save this master to your own personal Rise folder, similar to what Esther did. When we opened this up, we can see it exists in Esther's folder. You have a folder of your own. So you would click this little folder where it says move.
But where
then-
do we get that initially?
Oh, the
I-
link is in the chat. So right now, open it up and then it'll take you to this.
Oh, then I don't need to share it anymore then.
Not necessarily. If everyone were to do
Okay.
this on their own, then they can save it to their own folder.
Yeah.
So
Can
once you open it, you push the move button and
It's
gonna-
not giving me that option.
No, so let me.
I don't
add
have a move.
April at Gmail. Is that the one you need?
April at Highway City CD.
Okay,
Oh, I see. She's not on here. And then,
I'm adding
okay, I added Angie.
Hector. Send.
Esther, can you? Oh wait, did you share it in the box in the link to the YouTube video?
No, that was Hector's thought.
Hector, can you
No,
forward it to me? Can you forward it?
Literally just Google on the YouTube search
I-
bar, put those three things in, and there's quite a few videos on
Okay.
different things. And yeah, there's not one in particular. But
Okay, never mind, because I
yeah.
thought you were referring to a particular video, and I thought it would be good to share the video and stick to the language that we're using, so we're not getting different types of terms and
Yeah.
terminology, but and definitions as well. But I think that we're good to go.
At the top of the document there, Ivan, I just typed a few of the words that you were using. So above the blue line there, it says activities, strategy, what is happening, how we will do it.
Can you put, or can I
Yeah.
write that? I can't.
Yeah.
I wrote this because you were talking.
Oh, okay. Can you put in the outputs? Can you put, it tells a story, but it went after story. Can you put a parenthetical statement for me?
Uh-huh.
Can you just put story as in, it basically, it trails from the activities to the outcomes. So the story between those two is what an output is. I don't know if it's, that's why I said, like, when in grant writing, the term story or the grant or the description telling the story is very different from a person who's like, hey, I have a story for you, right?
And a testimony. basically.
It's completely different.
Yeah, I think we're all churchish folks.
Yeah, we're like newsletter stories. No, that's not what it's talking about. It wants numbers. It's a machine.
Yes, so it's the details of the
Yes.
activities, numbers and specifics.
Yes,
Tells the story between the activities and the outcomes.
exactly.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
again,
that-
we're not doing outputs right
I'm
now,
glad
right?
we cleared that up, because if somebody's gonna tell a whole story in a column, and I'm gonna be like, no.
That's really helpful though, because as I fill this out, I am gonna hopefully, because I don't want to do this all again, if they come back and say they need outputs. So I'm gonna fill this out where my outputs are in both of these categories as well, right?
Here's the thing. If you're gonna combine stuff that you're uncertain of, put it in the activities, okay? So again, the final product, I like to use that term, the final product, because it's gonna ask you, the term itself, or the phrase itself, final product, is like, what stands now? That, it's like what goal was accomplished, right? But with numbers in it. So 30 people this, 15 people that. And then the activities is like the vehicle. Tell me about the vehicle, all right? 15 meetings, about 8 people per meeting. That right there is, I think that's where you're gonna have some of your activities and your outputs. Later on, if they want it, we can, the good thing is you guys will have both in one. And so if they want change later, we can literally sift it. It won't be hard to sift the activities. But make sure that your outcomes are using present part, present tense, right? I don't want to confuse people even more with linguistics, but
No, this is really helpful, Ivan. Can I, in order to simplify this in here, can I take out this measurables right here? So it's just activities and outcomes, because where we're putting the measurable stuff is.
can we put it
activities.
in quotation marks, final product,
Yes,
or the end result, right? So those are,
Put them
Or
all in
measure-
there, yeah.
let's
We
not
wanna
put measurables in there. I can change that when we submit it to RISE. I'll change it, but I think for our sakes, we just need to have something simple.
yeah.
And for activities, Andy, can we put the process towards the goal? There we go.
This process, or do you want the whole thing?
Yeah,
Or-
process toward the goal. So people will know, oh, it's a process that's, okay, I get it. It's a vehicle, it's the path. And then the outcomes, that's the destination. Like what happens when people finish the finish line? Well, there'll be 3 people standing. Ivan will be crawling because I'm not a runner. And I think that's it.
Is that helpful? Why do we have the numbers on here, Ivan? Is that helpful for you? The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8?
I put them in there so that I can reference them when we're looking at it as a group. That's why I said column number 5, and then, we were all on the same page, right?
Got it. Okay.
It's more for reference. I'm gonna remove them as well.
Okay. Cool. Thank you for all of this.
Thank you guys all for being here. I'm glad at least three of us showed up. I think the other ones will send the video. Andy, or should I send it, or do you want to, or how do we do this? I'll send it. Yeah, so we'll try to get it done by, let's have it done by, actually, can I just say Tuesday instead? I'm sorry. On Wednesday, I leave out of here. Sayonara. It's time for a new adventure.
You're not quitting, are you?
What?
You're not leaving permanently. It's just vacation, right?
Hey, I might not come back. That's one thing with me. You never know.
Hey.
You heard, this meeting is being recorded.
Yeah,
Never mind. I'll be back.
Where in the world are you headed? Or is it the top
Beautiful
secret?
place with beautiful people. I'm going to Cancun.
No way.
Well, I'm
With
gonna visit my
who?
dad. I gotta go do something with
Nice.
my dad, and then after that, I'm gonna go for a couple of days.
Wonderful.
Cool
Have
friend.
Okay, then yes, Tuesday's fine.
Thank you.
You're
Don't
missing
show
it.
this video. Don't show this video.
Here, I'll stop recording.
And then no more due next week. I've got a huge event.
Yeah, one of the cool things that I'm doing